Am I still live? God damn, I feel really gross now. Like, I feel terrible just for, like, banning someone who has a opposing belief. It feels so gross, but it's just how it has to be. With something like that, it's just fundamentally... fundamentally... But then that's how a lot of those people feel about me being trans or being pansexual. Because they think that, you know, these same people, like, it's usually the same people. Is that they have this belief that, you know, oh, marriage is only between a man and a woman. And men and women are signed at birth, and that's just how it is. And no amount of evidence, no amount of science can change our minds. You know, like, when other people are closed-minded, it's almost impossible to be open-minded about them. Because I can't be open-minded to closed-mindedness. Like, you can't tolerate intolerance. When you don't tolerate someone just because they're different than you. Like, it's very different than me not tolerating someone who has hateful beliefs. Like, I'm so sick and tired of, like, there'll be people like, oh, you know, you want us to accept your beliefs. How come your beliefs are right and mine are wrong? It's like, well, because my beliefs are about protecting people's rights. And your beliefs are about taking away people's rights. There's a huge difference there. And then they'll always come up with some mental gymnastics to try to justify their belief. Whereas my beliefs are not contingent on whether or not I believe it or not. It's contingent on whether or not, like, the facts and data line up with it. And just, like, I don't know, like, just basic human decency? I don't know. It's just so frustrating. These people, how do they get to have so much power over us? They have so much power over us that I'm mad about someone else. About other people. Like, I'm like, I didn't even do anything, and I'm mad. Like, I didn't do anything except for, like, just hear something somebody said. And like, these people get to have so much power over us. Like, completely, like, living rent-free in my head. Because of their hateful beliefs. And you know what the worst part is? Is a lot of the times people will start to make you feel like you're the one being unreasonable. Because, like, for like what I said, you know, like, they'll say, oh, you know, but you're not open-minded to my beliefs. It's like, well, your beliefs say that being gay is a sin and that you need to not be gay or you're going to hell for eternity. And not only that, not only do you believe that, but you inflict that belief on every one of your children and force them to, like, adhere to that. Oh, you know, my family, it's a Christian family. You're like, you know, even if your children don't want to be Christian? I don't know. I feel so freaking gross. I just want to get over this conversation. Whoops. Yeah, I don't have to be a pissed off, angry political person, okay? That's not who I am. It's not who I want to be. It's not what I'm about. And I'm just so tired of that ending up being what my vibe is. You know? Like, I just want to have fun. I just want to make silly jokes. I want to like, you know, like have a nice vibe. Like other people do on their streams. Okay? I don't want to be Destiny. I guess that's what I get for being opinionated. Fuck. Whoops. God damn it, my chest is like fucked up. Like I was winning completely. What type of computer do you have? It's just like a kind of generic, like cheaper, like desktop PC. Uh-oh, I forgot about the check. Yeah, Jace, yeah, even though I kind of feel like shit and just like the stuff on the news is bothering me again, because the world's a fucked up place. Nobody seems to care about people's human rights. But I also know that, like, the world really isn't as doom and gloom as it seems sometimes, and that there's a lot of wonderful people out there, and I just have to find them. But I really just wish I could just, I don't know, I feel like crying like every day. Like it's just like nonstop barrage of human rights violations happening all over the world, and there's nothing I can do about it. It's just something that you just have to accept, that people are violent and people want to be fascist. And it's like it's gonna happen regardless of what I have to say about it. And it's like I don't want to live in a fascist world. But I don't have a choice. I have to live here because this is life. You only get one. And I can't just end my life. Yeah, I'm having a really hard time. And it's like I get really tilted. I get stun locked. That's pretty normal though, you know. I'm not the only one. I mean, in the end of the day, like, everything's fine. Like, I'm just running my stream. I have control over my stream. Yeah, I just want to, like, live my best life. You know, be like a shining beacon for other people. Because, you know, like, it's because of all this fascism that we need to be able to live healthy, happy lives in spite of them. To show people that we're not going to be defeated. Yeah, I'm having a really hard time. Like everything's just so fucked up in the world. Well, it's a violent thought, because if it becomes conservative, I'm transgender, and conservatives do not want me to exist. So it's fundamentally incompatible. I cannot live in a world that won't accept me, that wants to take away my rights. Like, how am I supposed to stay alive? How am I supposed to, like... That's the whole fucking rook. God damn it. No, I just, when will we win? When will they stop killing us? Why are they killing us? When will it be our turn to live and be happy and to thrive? Regardless of how we look like or who we love. What happened to that God? What happened to that Jesus? The one that loves and protects. It's just so unbearable. It is so unbearable. I'm just like forced to just sit back and take it. And like I'm stuck in California because this is the only state that is sane. That makes any sense whatsoever. That has any protections for people who are different. Just like, when can you stop killing us? Please. Stop killing us. Like, I don't want to just get angry. I don't want to just be like everyone else who's like, oh, that's just the way the world is. Some people will never change their mind, and that's just the way it is. We just have to sit by and wait. Because maybe in 50 years, trans people will have rights. Maybe in 100 years, women will make as much as men in the workplace. Maybe in 100 years, women can have bodily autonomy. You know, the world's just not ready for progressive. And that's what they said 100 years ago. And that's how we got here. Is people just saying, you know, accepting it. And people are fighting back, but like, I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know how to be happy. I don't know how to enjoy life. Especially being so isolated because of COVID. I just like cannot get COVID. It'll completely undermine everything I've worked for. God damn it. I just wish life was easier, okay? Like, I wish things were simpler. I wish I could have fun playing chess again. I wish I could have fun playing music again. I wish I didn't have to constantly be, like, upset about some political bullshit every single day because some fucking conservative asshole wants to take matters into their own hand and completely, like, control people's lives. And it's like, if it doesn't affect you, it's easy to look the other way. But like when things affect me, because like a lot of the things that the conservatives do affect everybody that the conservatives are against. Like, you know, abortion rights doesn't just affect, you know, women. It's just like it's a win for the conservatives. And it makes them feel like they're more justified. It makes them feel empowered and like they can continue to fight against LGBTQ people or against black people. Yeah, I mean, I can't give up. I can't kill myself. I can't give up now. But you know, it's like a chess game. Sometimes you just like fuck up the game so much you can't win. And you have to play a new one. But it's like, how many games do I get to play before it's too much? You know, like when the world just keeps telling you that you don't belong. Whether it's because you're autistic, or whether it's because you're transgender, or whether it's just because you're a woman in general. Like, how come I don't get to have a happy life? And I know that, like, eventually I can make that happen for myself. I'm just gonna have to, like, just take life by the fucking reins and say, you know what? You don't get to dictate my life. I get to be happy. I mean, I don't know so much about reincarnation. I don't really have any like deeply held beliefs about the afterlife, because I don't think that's anything that we can really know. I try to work with what we have while we have it. You know, we're here now. We should be living. We should be more like God now, not later. That's the way I see, like, you know, spirituality. Is that you should be living the life that you know you need to be living now, not later, not when you're dead. Now, like, now's the time to be more like God. Now's the time to be more like Jesus. And you know what? Jesus is not some like white person, like, that's like, you know, homophobic, transphobic, misogynistic. Like, that's not God. Okay, God is, hey, like, life is here and you're here and I'm not gonna judge you. You get to live a happy, healthy life. What life do you need to be living? I don't know. That's the problem. It's like I can't seem to be happy. Like, no matter what, every single thing, like, I make a win in my life and there's something else. I was talking to my therapist about it, you know, about moving goalposts. But, you know, the thing is like the fact that there's goalposts moving is actually, it's still a good sign, because it means that I'm meeting the goals. But, like, it's still frustrating because it means that every time I make a victory, I find some other thing to be upset about. And that's really frustrating. I just want to be happy. I just want to be like a normal person. I don't want to be angry all the time. I don't want to be yelling and screaming at people. Okay? I'm not an angry, super angry liberal on the internet, okay? I'm just somebody who's fed up with shit. And I don't want to be angry. Yeah, I mean, every day I open up my journal and I handwrite a list of like a paragraph or so of just like everything I've accomplished. Like, maybe not everything, like just everything, like story so far, you know, like everything new, you know, or just reminders of how far I've come, because I really have come a long way. And I think I need to give myself a lot more credit, because I think I'm a lot more powerful than I give myself credit for. I'm a lot more, I also think that I'm a better content creator than I give myself credit for. But in the end of the day, some things are just polarizing. And it has nothing to do with me, really. It's just, some issues are just issues. And they're issues for, like, everyone. I don't, there's no, it's like when there's two completely opposing beliefs, like, how am I supposed to, because it's like, like if somebody's belief was that trans people shouldn't have rights, like I can't also believe that. I can't believe that person. Like I can't share that person's belief. Like I'm transgender. Like I don't really miss high school life. It wasn't really laid back. I was pretty isolated. I was bullied. I was very confused because I didn't know that I was transgender yet. I didn't have the vocabulary. Sadly, we didn't live in the world that we do today, where people have, like, spaces to talk about their identity. Which people think is like brainwashing. It's not, because people are going to be who they are regardless of what you tell them. The only difference is whether or not they have knowledge or not. So would you rather people not have knowledge? Would you rather, like, people learn information from the internet instead of learning information from, like, a qualified professional, like a doctor? I don't understand, like, the logic behind, like, wanting to, like, erase, like, LGBTQ from, like, people's lives. We're not going anywhere. We exist, and we have always existed. Like, I don't understand, like, how people just think that, like, what, this is like a lifestyle choice? Like, do they think that this is like, whether, like, a hobby? Is that what they think? It's so ridiculous. I didn't choose to be trans. Oh no. Yeah, either way. I'm trying so hard not to talk about politics. God damn it. It's like impossible to avoid. Especially nowadays, but also being a trans person, like, it's impossible to avoid, because any time the conservatives make a win, that's a loss for me, because I'm transgender and I'm one of their main targets. And so if they get a win anywhere, if they make a win against anybody, it's an attack against everyone else who they're attacking. That's the problem with conservatives. Like that's the problem, is anytime they make a win, it's a loss for everyone that they're targeting. Not even just the people that they're specifically made a win against. Yeah, I mean, talking about it on stream helps a little bit, but it also, like, makes me feel tilted, and I'm definitely losing chest, and that's making me feel tilted. It's not your fault. So stupid how parents think it's brainwashing. Their children are going to do what feels best. Yeah, exactly. Like, I did not have the vocabulary, and in fact, I thought I was actually very transphobic when I was in high school. Like, I was like, oh, it's like, you're just, just a man pretending to be a woman. Like, oh, I could see the Adam's apple. That's a man. Like, I used to be like that. And then I started, like, actually looking at who I am and realizing, like, oh shit, like, like, I need a vagina. Like, that makes me trans. Yeah, you can't change the past. Well, what I want to do is I want to just have a safe, comfortable stream. Like, it doesn't mean that we can't, like, I don't want to just be like all like bunny hopping, rainbows and sunshine and pretending like things don't exist, but I don't want to get angry. You know what I mean? There's one thing where it's like talking about things, but there's another thing where it's like it's tilting me. And I've reined it in a couple times already today, but I don't know, it's just like I feel so tilted sometimes. Yeah, you know, maybe a lot of transphobic people and a lot of homophobic people, maybe they're struggling with their own identity. So that's why it's like, you know, it's like, I know that like it's kind of ironic, but it's not, because to me, like God, like Christianity, like all that stuff, it doesn't exist because people say it exists. It exists because it exists. And to me, it's very different than what some book says or what some random group of people say who are like part of a church. Like that's not what spirituality or religion is to me. But you know, a lot of these people end up being Christian, and you know, like a lot of these people, they have like their whole entire lives are controlled by the church, and so like they're not allowed to be who they are. And when they see something that reminds them of who they are, like they get very violent against it because they don't want to admit that's who they are, because they're like, oh well, what will my parents do if they find out? It's like, well, that's part of the problem, is that your parents should not have that control over you, that you should have individual autonomy, that if you're gay or trans, your parents should not be allowed to abuse you. Like that's the whole deal. And trying to convince somebody who's gay that they're not gay, conversion therapy, it's already been proven to be ineffective and actual torture. So it's like, but you know, that's why I have like, I try to have faith. I try to, you know, when they don't have, because they think they found God, but they are so far away from God that I have to have faith for them. You know, they say, forgive them for they do not know. Well, all these people who are like pro-life, all these people who are like transphobic, you know, homophobic, you know, racist, all these people, they're lost, okay? And I don't know, it's not necessarily my job to make sure that they're found or whatever. They can do that on their own, whatever. But it also does mean that I should like have a little bit more patience and faith, because I know that the way I see things are the truth. Obviously, like, I don't know 100% of the truth of reality, okay? But like, I do understand that like certain things are true, not because somebody says they're true, but because it has evidence to back it up. Okay, like you could say something is true, it doesn't make it true. Yeah, a lot of people who are, like, not everybody who's Christian is conservative. In fact, I think Jesus was pretty progressive. In fact, like, if you actually read the Bible, like, Jesus would be, like, one of the people who's, like, on Twitter, like, organizing, like, protests. like, that's who Jesus would be today. He'd be on Twitter organizing, like, protest rallies, non-violent protest rallies. Against conservatives. That's literally what he would be doing today. How did you get the courage to come out? I don't know. It's I mean, I still live with my dad. It took a while. I'm 34. I came out when I was 18. So that was quite a long time ago. I didn't get 100% acceptance, and I ended up recloseting, unfortunately. And I wasn't strong enough until I was 31 to start hormones. I was afraid to start hormones when I was younger. I probably could have, even though I was like homeless. And that was another thing too. It was really hard to pursue. A lot of it, you know, I think I'm like, obviously knowing what I know now, I wish I was able to at least get it started. But I wasn't strong enough. I felt like I wasn't allowed to. I felt like I couldn't have been able to transition because nobody would accept me. And honestly, that kind of is with the case. But it's also the case that, like, I can't live a lie. I can't deny myself what I need. I can't pretend to be someone I'm not. And, you know, not just to make some people happy by, like, oh, you know, you have to let me dead name you and use the wrong pronouns because that's just who I am. Like, no. Like, sorry, you're not in my life if you're gonna be like that. And unfortunately, a lot of people in my life kind of just disappeared. But some people have been able to slowly get back in, but it's kind of frustrating. I have to set like some extreme boundaries with like, you know, with some people like my mom, but I'm trying to have more compassion and love in my life, and trying to forgive my mom for everything that she did wrong, which is a lot of things. I don't want to name them off, so I think that's the wrong direction. You know, I don't know. I think a lot of it is just I feel so trapped, and I feel like I don't really have any control over my life. And I feel like once I start getting some independence in my life, like when I can live in my own place, in my own environment, and just create my own life, then, you know, I'll start to feel better, I think. I mean, I already do. But, yeah, sometimes I just don't even know what life is, you know? Like what the fuck is this? But then again, it's like it's gonna happen regardless of what you want, you know? Like, life just happens. It's not like it just keeps going. And I can't go into those dark thoughts of like thinking about giving up, because giving up means one thing and one thing only in life. And that's not something that you know, it's permanent. It's not something you can come back from. And it's not and I don't want to give up hope, because there's always another day. You know, there's always a chance for things to change. And some people will be cynical and they'll be like, oh, you know, it's wishful thinking, life's never gonna change, people are pieces of shit. And it's like, well, what good is that doing? You know? Like, what is being super, like, pessimistic? Like, what is that doing? Like, it's just like, it's not accomplishing anything. You seen the video of the guy fishing Asiatic clams? Oh, fishing Asiatic clams, saying never give up. Oh, I've seen that, I think. Yeah, I mean, like, you see people who are, like, you know, in their 80s or 90s, and they're still fighting for life every single day. And it kind of puts things in perspective a little bit, you know? I don't know if that guy was, like, older or whatever, but, I mean, you think he was older. But, you know, like, life always has some extra oomph to it, if you find it. But if you look for the negative, you're gonna find negative. And even, it doesn't magically, okay, it's not like putting your head in the sand. I think that's like the wrong way to think about it. I think it's about accepting that there's a lot of things that are shitty and being happy anyway, in spite of it. I don't know, sometimes it just feels really hard to keep trying. You know, like, it just feels like my life is just like set in stone sometimes. That it's just like, who am I kidding? You know, why am I trying to fight? But obviously I know why I'm trying to fight is because I only get one life and I don't want to die. But, like, you know, as far as like, am I ever actually going to achieve the success I want in life? Well, it's like, I can't just accept failure. Yeah, I don't know. It's been really hard for me to play chess for like the past year. Like it's almost impossible for me to focus on the game. Like I try to use all my chess study, all my principles I've learned, you know, even openings. Like I try to remember and keep all that in line, but then it's just like when the game actually starts, like my mind is elsewhere. Like I'm just like I'm stuck. And and the thing is like it's over things that I have no control over. I can't control how the government acts. Yeah, chess is hard, so that's one thing. And trying to cut myself some slack. That like, hey, like there's a reason why you're having difficulties with the game. It's because it's fundamentally difficult. But at the same time, it's like when you know you make a mistake and you know you could have done better. That's really what I'm talking about, that I'm upset about. Because when I'm playing chess and I know I like, why did I make this move? Why did I do that? Like I know better. And like I just make a stupid move like for no reason. Like if I put the bishop here, like obviously the knight's gonna take it and attack the rook. So it's like I'll do stuff like that. When I get into chess when I was like 8 years old, and I got into it again as an adult. If you're in creative mode in real life, it'd get pretty boring really fast. I don't really think that's how creativity works. I don't think hardships are what make life worth living. I think that's copium. I think obviously hardships are going to happen regardless, and it would be a lot better without hardship. I think when people say that hardship drives creativity, I think that's copium. Because like, if you're I cannot feel in fact, that's actually exactly what's going on with me right now. Is I can't be creative because I'm so bogged down by all the bullshit. And so if I didn't have all this bullshit, I'd be freed up to actually work on some things that I care about, like my novel. Or music. And all that kind of stuff. All that jazz. You like jazz? You like jazz? See, I don't agree with that at all. I don't think hardship drives creativity at all. I think it's the opposite. And I think anybody who says otherwise, I think it's just copium. Because I mean, if every single day you're struggling just to like feed yourself, like you can't even like you're like malnourished. You haven't bathed in like weeks. You don't know where you're gonna sleep safely. Like if that's been your life for like 10 years, how are you supposed to be creative? Oh, you mean Minecraft creative mode? Oh, that's what you mean. Well, if I could snap my fingers and have my book written instantly, then I'll get to read it faster. Like the reason to write a book is because you want to read it. I feel like that's like a lot of writers will say that, and I believe it, because it's like while I'm writing it, it's like I'm reading it, like I'm reading it first, but like in raw creative mode, you know, like. It's actually kind of frustrating. Like the actual writing process is kind of annoying. But I do enjoy the process, and I did get myself into some good habits, but then I lost them. But I'll get back, okay? It's not about like, oh, if you fall off the horse, you're off the horse forever, you know? It's like, no, like I built habits. That still happened, and when I get back into it, those habits are going to be there because I built them already. I built a structure for myself. You know, I have a bag with like, you know, my Bluetooth keyboard in it, and, you know, for my tablet. and you know, I can put my tablet in this little bag, and there's also like a little like handwritten notebook and like a pen or two, and it's just like a writing bag. You know, I have that, and that's there. So if I don't have to create that again. Like I don't have to build that again, because I already spent the time to build it. You can get some air in here. It's a little warm. Yeah, I don't... Huh? Yeah, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I doing this? Okay. Allowing the knight and queen to come in like that. Like, what the hell am I doing? I know better. Like, I should not be playing this badly. Like, I know better. Like, I don't know, it's kind of like boggles my mind sometimes. That I could have studied so much chess and still make the same mistakes. It's so frustrating. I do know that a lot of it is just I'm not really paying attention. I think that's like the biggest thing. And obviously being, you know, doing a stream while you're playing is like not going to be very conducive to being able to focus. But at the end of the day, like, I don't want to just play chess and I don't want to just stream. You know, I could do both. So I don't know, there's a balance. Yeah, I don't know. It's just I'm doing okay. I got a little upset, but I'm, you know, just because I get upset doesn't mean it like derails my whole day or even derail my stream. Like I'm in control. And if people bother me, I could ban them and I shouldn't feel bad about it. Okay? Like, come on. Doesn't matter why they like it, I can ban people for any reason, okay? I'm justified. I still don't like that sometimes I just ban people because they say something I disagree with. Makes me feel really fascist. But then when their beliefs are fascist, I guess that counters it. Oh god, I don't know. I don't know why. Like, why something... I don't know, like, there must be a reason why things are so important. Like, why it's so important to like, have strong beliefs. Okay, I can do something with the knight. Yeah, let's attack the knight. Yeah, this... Checkmate. Oh, God. Yuck. Yeah, sometimes we gotta keep... I mean, this is kind of like the theme of today's stream. Sometimes we just gotta keep going. You know? I need to practice that more than I have, you know? Like, I feel so, like defeated a lot of the times. Like, come on, Rebecca. Like, you can play a game of chess. Just focus. Just focus. Jeez. Just, like, take your time between each move. This person's berserking. Take the center. Developing. Take the pawn first, I think. Okay. Now I got the file. Well, if I can outlast my opponent, I'll actually win. Because they berserked. Hey, it's Hound! How are you? Just, trying to get through the day, playing some chess. Really kind of burnt out a lot from chess. But I want to, like, fight for it, you know? Sometimes, like I said, like the title of the stream, you know, sometimes you have to fight. You know, it's just showing up, you know? Okay, I need to do something with my queen. Move out of the way. So this... Let's just go here. Keep everything protected. Maybe trade off bishop for a knight. Get my king protected. Okay, first let's go here. Oof. Oh. Uh-oh. Whoops. Is there any way out of this? Queen's under attack. Let's check first. Oh, fuck. Forgot about that. Jeez. That sucks. Oh no. Now I'm just like throwing away pieces. Hey, if I can live past 3 minutes, I'll actually win. As long as I have at least a pawn or, you know, minimum material. So I don't think it's gonna happen. Uh-oh. Running out of options. I'm gonna get mated. Checkmate. Yeah, I sometimes don't really feel like I just have anything in me at all. But the problem is if I keep acting based on that feeling, I won't do anything. Because I'm always gonna feel that way because I have major depressive disorder. Like, I have to be able to show up and keep fighting even when I don't want to. And sometimes, like, I'll be starting my stream and I'm like, why am I even here? Like, what am I trying to accomplish? What am I trying to do? And I know the answer to these questions, you know, like, I know everything that I'm trying to do with my life, and it's not just revolved around streaming. Like, it's a full, like, multifaceted plan that somewhat involves streaming, but like it's not the only part of it. I'm very educated, at least as much as I can, with something as complicated as like how to be a successful content creator, which is like there's no answer. Then it's like I don't even understand sometimes, like, what content do I even have? Like, I don't know, but like I think like redefining like what is content, like, just keep it things simple. In my chess games, I think I try to get a little bit too complicated too fast a lot of the times. Okay. Not so great. Yeah, I don't know. Eventually I'll be able to find that little, you know, that spark again. No, sorry, no follow for follow. Jeez, it's been so long since I've had a follow for follower come in. That's like the normal kind of like, hey, maybe I'm making progress in my stream. I'm like getting back to normal basics, you know? Get the normal trolls. Uh-oh. Down a piece. I can get a pawn back. Unless you move the rook or the king. Okay. Well, there goes one of my pawns. Yeah, I think a lot of it too is that yeah, I mean, every now and then I go through this like deep depression, and sometimes it gets so unbearable, and I also have like some physical pain at the moment as well, like with like a pinched nerve in my neck, like neck, shoulder, back area kind of thing. And it's been really bad for like a month, and so like I didn't want to smoke weed because I don't like the idea of smoking, because I've done that before, but I had weed edibles for like a month, and it was like $25 a day or whatever. I spent like over $250 on weed edibles last month. But, you know, it wasn't really so much, like obviously that was a deterrent. But it's not really that, it's just that, like, eventually, like, that becomes your new normal. Like, that, like, being stoned becomes your new normal. That bothers me. Because it's like, well, why am I spending money just to feel normal? Like, that's really what it can come down to. Uh-oh. I'm just like destroying my games. Like I'm doing okay and then I just like destroy everything. That sucks. Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to remember that it is possible to be happy. It is possible to enjoy the things that I once enjoyed again, like chess. It is possible to have a good stream without tilting or, you know, getting so upset that like I'm screaming. Like that's not happening anymore. But like I don't know, right now like I do not feel good about life right now. Like, and I guess that's okay. Like, you know, life doesn't always have to feel perfect. Maybe it's just like that's part of it, is just like accepting that sometimes I'm just gonna feel really shitty. And I wish it wasn't that way, but it's just how it is. I think I might be able to trap the rook. Not really. I don't think so though. If I go here, but then you have the pawn. Oh, never mind. It doesn't track the rook. For some reason, I thought that required 2 moves at once. My king needed to be here first. Whoops. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. Playing badly. 2.5 hours. I know I said I wanted to try to do longer streams again, but like honestly, I'm having a really hard time today. Like, I think that's fine. I think what it is like, I don't know. It's just how I feel today. I just feel really kind of shitty. I feel like things won't ever get better, even though I know they are. And it's not even just about me anymore. It's never really been just about me, but you know, it's not just about me. You know, it's like there's a whole bunch of other stuff that's out of my control, and I'm just trying to get through life. Okay, like it's really hard because people say, oh, you know, a lot of people don't face it. I'm trying to face it. See, a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll just avoid certain topics of conversation, and they'll do that their whole life. And anytime the topic of conversation comes up, it bothers them, and they don't deal with it. And it's a little tough, but at least I know that I'm living my life trying to push through. I'm not trying to avoid life, I'm trying to get through life. Like I don't shy away from things that bother me. Like, I want to, because in order to grow, sometimes you have to be uncomfortable. And I like challenging. I mean, obviously certain beliefs won't change. Like, obviously, like there's certain things, like being transgender. Like, I will never think that a trans woman should use the men's restroom. Like, that's never gonna happen, okay? An amazingly unprecedented series of things would have to happen for that to be the case. Things that are not going to happen, okay? I love being me. I don't like 100% attach my identity to the fact that I'm trans or that I'm a woman, but like, it's a huge part of who I am, and I'm proud of it. Because, you know, it's not because I want to be trans, it's just I am trans. I can't do anything about it. Okay, it's not something, it's not a lifestyle. It's not like, you know, oh, I play chess. Oh, you're a chess player? Wow. You must have made some bad choices. Like, like, it's not like that, okay? It's not a lifestyle. It's just a fact. It's like if you're white or black, or if you're like gay or straight or asexual. Honestly, I feel like a lot of the time, like I consider myself pansexual, and I consider pan different than bi, because I feel like pan also includes like a sense of shifting. Like, I think, like, because you're panning around, right? So I feel like when you say pansexual, I feel like that's also, like, includes some different shifting elements that are a little different than being bi. But, I mean, I think that's a little esoteric. I really think in the end of the day, just say whatever you want. But I prefer calling myself pansexual because I also think that includes asexuality. I think it also includes polyamory, like polyamory and polysexuality, which are things that, like, a lot of the time I'm asexual. Like, I'm not very aroused a lot of the time. I do have a sex drive, and actually, you know what's funny is people say you lose your sex drive when you lower your testosterone, and my testosterone was down to 9, and my estrogen was like through the roof. That's why they halved my estrogen dosage, because I got a orchiectomy, so now I'm not producing testosterone. My testosterone was down to like 9, and my estrogen was like 1200. Like, it's insane. It's very, very dangerous, actually. Too much estrogen can actually kill you. You know, so that's bad. I don't want that. I want to just have girl juices. Yeah, my testosterone is actually really low. But it's in the typical women's range. Here, let me Google it. Typical women testosterone. In women, normal testosterone levels range from 15 to 70 nanograms. Well, I guess mine's a little lower. And that's probably why they halved my dose, because like it drove my testosterone even lower, you know? You gotta have some testosterone. It's actually pretty natural. It says like some women seek treatment, and this isn't even about trans women, so it's going to be a little bit different for me because I have a different biology, but like for the most part it's like the same. But like low levels, some women seek treatment for lower testosterone levels caused by another health condition or surgery, such as removal of the ovaries. However, testosterone levels also naturally decrease as we age, so there isn't always an underlying concern. There's a bit of older short-term research suggesting testosterone therapy can increase female libido. Obviously not something I want to seek out, okay? I don't want to take testosterone, okay? I've already tried to get rid of it, okay? However, the long-term safety and effects of testosterone therapy to increase libido in women isn't well understood. Neither is testosterone's effects on improving bone and muscle strength or leveling mood. For these reasons, doctors usually advise against testosterone treatment for women. In fact, there are many possible side effects for testosterone therapy for women, even in women with naturally low levels. The link between testosterone therapy and women breast cancer and heart disease are currently being studied. Other possible side effects of testosterone therapy include acne, deepening voice, hair growth on face and chest, male pattern baldness, reduced HDL cholesterol, which is the good cholesterol. Yeah, that's... Yeah, I do not want to take their testosterone. Okay, I've already worked really hard to get rid of it. Either way, my doctors are you know, my doctors. Okay. Oh wow, safe testosterone level for trans women is 30 to 100, so I'm like way lower. Jeez, I'm actually lower than like cisgender women's range. Wow. Yeah, and that's kind of what that's like. I think it's all related to my estrogen dose. I was taking full dosage, like I was taking 8 milligrams a day, like 4 milligrams twice a day. So now I'm taking 2 milligrams twice a day. So I'm taking only 4 milligrams a day now. So that's probably gonna put my testosterone in a bit of a healthier range. I don't know, it's just health stuff. Hormones are like fluctuating things, and since I, you know, take hormones and I got rid of hormone production organs, it just means I need a little bit extra, you know, maintenance. But it's just like being diabetic. You know, I'm diabetic and I got my A1C down to 7.2%, which is extremely healthy. The typical range for non-diabetics, hemoglobin A1C typical range. Normal A1C is below 5.7%. 5.7 to 6.4% indicates pre-diabetes, and a level of 6.5 or more indicates diabetes. Within the 5.7 to 6.4 range, the higher your A1C, the greater your risk. But for people with diabetes, 7% is considered healthy. But if you get lower than 7, obviously it's better. It should be like 5.7 or below. Like, that's ideal. But obviously, since I have to take my own insulin, which is also a hormone, since I have to take my own insulin, and I could do better with a pump, but honestly, you have to define like do better, because that would severely affect my quality of life. Like, I know that a lot of people use insulin pumps, and you know, more power to them, but honestly, I tried using a CGM, and having something taped to your abdomen like all day with a rash, you know, like every time I took it off there was like a big welt, and that was just the CGM. That was just the glucose monitor. So also having like a freaking like terabyte hard drive attached to you, you know, because you need an insulin pump. Like that's not my idea of a happy life. Like I don't want to be a cyborg creature that but your diabetes is super healthy. You know, it's like, would you want to live an extra 10 years if the next 5 years of your life you had to like be like connected to like some machine, and every single day you're perfectly still and you have no movement whatsoever, no experience outside of being hooked up to a machine? Like, is it really worth that extra 5 years of your life or whatever? If you spend 5 years of life, you get an extra 10 years. Like if that's how it worked. Like if you put that in the bank now, you get an extra 5 years of your life. But then, well, you get an extra 5 years, but you just spent 5 years. So, but like honestly, like that would be torture. Like, you don't want to be like, is living longer worth decreasing your quality of life so much that like it's like, I don't know, it's fine. I'm doing relatively well with just the standard glucose monitor and just insulin pens. I don't really feel like I can do the extra maintenance, because honestly, like the extra maintenance of the CGM and insulin pump is more to me. Like that's more. That takes more than just testing my blood sugar more often and taking insulin and also being healthy and eating healthy. Yeah, then you spend 5 of those 10 getting another 10 over and over, and you achieve immortality and become God Emperor of humanity. But then what happens is then there's always the possibility. It's like with Twitch streaming. Like a lot of the people who are like the super like long-term super mega streamers, they'll always talk about how like you're always on the job as a content creator, and so the key is trying to find a work-life balance, and that's a challenge for anybody, but especially content creators, especially streamers, because there's always people talking on Reddit, there's always people talking on Twitter, on Discord, whatever. You could be streaming more, you could be doing more YouTube videos, there's always something more you could be doing. And so at what point do you have to ask yourself, like, hey, like, what am I really getting out of this? Like, I'm getting extra content, whatever, maybe a few extra bucks or whatever, but if you're spending all that time constantly working and never taking any time for yourself, that's going to take a toll on your mental health. And Mizkif has talked about this. You know, it's like, no amount of money can repair your brain. That's something that's not pay to win. It's fundamentally like something only you can do. Like, and obviously we can get help. We can get like medication, we can get, therapy and whatnot. But in the end of the day, the only person in charge of our brain is us. And that's scary as fuck. But you know, it's like the same idea. Like, if you could always be doing more, then you might convince yourself that you never do more. Because it's like, oh, well, if I keep spending 5 years in a machine to get an extra 10 years of my life, why not just do that more? Right? And then you always do that. At what point do you like say, like, you know what, enough is enough? And in this hypothetical like situation where you can get an extra 10 years by spending 5 years in some hooked up to some machine or whatever, it's like, if you could time travel, why would you need to time travel? Like, it's like, or it's like, if you, I don't know if that's a good way of putting it, what I was trying to say. Like, I forgot what I was trying to say. Something about time travel, but like, I don't know. Yeah, you know, these are the kind of conversations I like. These are the reasons why I show up to the stream or show up anywhere really in life. like, these are the kind of conversations that make me happy. And when I talk to my friends about, like, this is reminding me of, like, when I hang out with my friends in real life. And this is kind of what I need to remember. Like, this is what I'm fighting for, is to get that spark back inside of me. That spark that, like, that laughs, that has fun talking about silly stuff like sci-fi concepts or, you know, philosophical concepts or whatever. That part of me that used to be there, and I know that she's still there, but, like, as I've gotten older, it's like continually like an uphill battle trying to get that spark back, because the older I get, it's not really about age, it's about, like, the more exposure to the world I get, you know, and also from my angle of the world, and also from my, you know, there's a lot of things that I can change in my own world. So there's like a lot of things that can change. And yeah, I'm getting older and eventually I'm gonna die. Okay, but, like, I'm super young right now, even for 34. I mean, I'm pretty young, and you know, I've seen people in their 60s who still look pretty young. So, you know, maybe other people might not think that. Maybe, I don't know. As like an, I don't know. I there's a lot of things that I can do. I don't want to sell myself short. I don't want to limit what I can do just because, like, oh well, if I'm older, people won't want to watch my OnlyFans or whatever. And it's like, yeah, that might be true, but it also might not be true. You know, it might be the opposite. Maybe people, as I get older, they actually like me more. Like, you never know. Like, especially as people, like, I think a lot of it is like stuff like with Twitch and with YouTube and OnlyFans and all that stuff. Like, as people, like, people are there for the interaction. Like, people are not really, like, and also people have all sorts of different tastes. And if you lose some viewers, well, then you're going to gain some other viewers, because now you check the box that they need. So it's like, you'll be tapping into a niche market. There's got to be a joke there somewhere about tapping. No, the thing is like, it is a market. And I'm a trans person, so that's already a niche market, and then I'm going to be a trans person post-op. So it's like, that's also another niche market. And actually, that's more of a niche than trans women with penises. So that's, so it's like, I'm actually doing, you know, as far as like an external, like, life consequences thing, getting my bottom surgery might end up hurting my career. Like, I'm just like, because that makes me like the vast majority of women, like, which takes away the it takes away the excitement for people. I think, like, they're like, oh, it's a trans woman, but she has a vagina, like. But then there's all the people who like people with vaginas, so I lose those people, and then I gain all these people. So, and then as I get older, well, I get the people who appreciate older people. There's always a market if I'm willing to do it. So I think the question is not what other people want, but what I want, because I can fandangle my life around to make it work regardless of what other people want. And as long as I'm like, you can't please everybody, but you can like kind of maneuver things, like little political maneuverings. I think I can be happy. I really do think I can. I've been happy a few times. I kind of have tastes of what it feels like. I've never really had sustained happiness, and I've never had financial security. So that's one of the things hindering my happiness, like financial independence, like, you know, living on my own without like having to live in my dad's trailer. Being able to actually like travel and meet different people and work with different people and have all sorts of different experiences, like, that's a huge part of my barrier, is money. But it's not just money, because I have money now. I have an income now because of SSI. And scared to death of the phone call tomorrow, because there's like some phone call they want to do to like something about my eligibility. I'm like, I thought that wasn't for another 3 years. Like, how come you're calling me now? It's really kind of Come on, I really do not need another L. Okay, like, come on. I already have an L in my name. Okay, I don't need any more. That L's good. No, the fact that, like, I really don't have to worry about money at the moment. Because it, you know, the money doesn't change my living situation. So, unless I can get a huge influx of money, it's not really going to make a difference. So it's just there to, like, kind of just, you know, if I want to buy some clothes because I need to, look at this freaking, wearing the same exact clothes for, like, 2.5 years. The clothes that I got donated to me from, like, a few friends. Because I changed my entire wardrobe, threw it all out. Like, not all of it. I kept some pajamas and, like, one pair of pants. I have one pair of women's pants. Well, I don't actually know if they're women's pants because they have pockets. Either way, like, I have, like, 2 pairs of pants. One is, I consider, kind of more gender neutral, and it's kind of like carpenter pants. Like, it has like a billion pockets. And the other one's just kind of like a like kind of more skinny jeans. It's got like a couple like kind of shiny studs on the butt. I don't know. I actually think they might be guys' pants. Oh well. Not like it matters. I mean, you know, if you really think about it, all clothing is gender neutral. So like a guy can like show up in a freaking maid outfit and still be a guy. Or a woman can show up in like a tuxedo and still be a woman. Okay, like, I think men's clothing is boring. I really like, I do think women's clothing can sometimes be like not really my thing, like depending on style, you know, but there's options. You know, there's so many options with women's clothing. But then with men's clothing, it's just like shirt, pants. Yeah, I mean, you always gotta have pockets somewhere, you know? Can't always use the old prison pocket. I think they do rarely have pockets, but they're not real pockets. Yeah, so this one has, like, kind of real pockets. So I don't know. There's been kind of like a shift. Like, you know, kind of more feminist movement of like, hey, like, stop limiting us with our clothing. Okay, like, but then again, like, pockets, I don't know, it's just, I feel like pockets are more of a guy thing. Like, I don't know, like, everyone's different. But I just feel like if I want to bring more than a few things, or if I don't have, or if I don't have pockets at all, like if I'm wearing a dress or something, I'll just use my purse. Like, it's a whole ass bag. Like, that's a big enough pocket, okay? Like, but like I said, you know, not everybody likes carrying around their purse. Sometimes I don't like carrying around my purse. In fact, a lot of the times, I don't know, lately, I think it's kind of I mean, obviously, in the end of the day, I can wear whatever I want. You know, it doesn't change my gender. Like, I'm still a woman. Like, I could wear men's clothes. It doesn't make me a man. Okay, and it's important because part of gender dysphoria is, part of trying to deal with gender dysphoria, I found, is learning to differentiate between things that are real and things that are imagined. And a lot of the times, some gender dysphoria things are things that we've set for ourselves and that we need to adjust our understanding of gender. Some things are actual dysphoria, like genital dysphoria. Like, I can't adjust my mindset to change that. I mean, that conversion therapy just doesn't work. Like, I need a vagina, okay? Like, nothing is going to change that except for a surgery that makes it into a vagina. Okay, like, there's one thing that I need. There's no, like, oh, if I only adjust my attitude, if I meditate. Like, no, but there are things that, like, when it comes to, like, clothing, or even, like, mannerisms, like, hey, you know, like, women don't have to act a certain way to be women. And you know, like, I feel like it's going in the wrong direction to say that men have to be a certain way and women have to be a certain way. And I feel like it's funny. I feel like a lot of the people The start of this song was sampled in one of my favorite songs. I had no idea to know. What is this song? Oh, it's F-Zero Maximum Velocity. But it's a remix. So it's like, maybe it was from one of your favorite songs. Maybe that's where they got it from. I don't know. I feel like a lot of the people who are like struggling, trying to understand the gender spectrum, a lot of people will say like, oh, why don't we just let boys play with dresses or play with dolls or whatever? And it's like, well, that's kind of the goal, is that trans people are going to exist, but so are people who are just like gender non-conforming. And I think if people truly understood like exactly what we're fighting for, I think they would be more on board. But the thing is they refuse to listen to facts. They listen to what they think instead of what is. And if they just take some time to have like a little bit of an open mind and to listen, I think they would understand a lot more, and they would be a lot more on board for it, because I don't think everybody is trans. Like, obviously, like, there's like, what, like 0.5% of us. But some people might not be trans, but they think they're trans. And that is a real number. That's a small percentage, but it's still very real. It's not insignificant. These are real people with real lives. And if you're put into an environment that does not allow you to explore and in a safe way, like who you are, then you don't get to find out that part. And people might end up transitioning medically, even if they're not trans, and they might regret it. And that's very rare, by the way. So it's like, you shouldn't like the exception be the, like, make the exception the rule. Like, a lot of these people, they'll spread a false, like, a narrative about trans people as if like people are regretting transitioning left and right. It's like 1%, or like it's less than 1% of the entire transgender population ends up experiencing transition regret. It's a very like non-insignificant amount of people. Those people matter, okay? But like, you can't really, like, there's gonna be people who fall through the cracks, okay? But maybe less people would fall through the cracks if you let people explore their gender, instead of being afraid, like, oh, if my son starts playing with dolls, he might think he's a girl. Like, no, that's not gonna happen, okay? Like, people know their gender, and if they don't, well, then they explore it. Like, when I was younger, I would actually say I didn't even really feel any gender. Like, I was probably non-binary if I was gonna label it, you know, back when I was like younger. And when I hit my first puberty, I would even say like I was still kind of non-binary back then, but I don't know. Obviously, I'm very binary, she, her pronoun person. Okay, so all woman, the woman. Jeez, Rebecca, you have some self-importance complex. But yeah, like, a lot of it is like understanding like which parts of gender dysphoria are like because of like specific details, and which ones are just like ones that I'm like grasping for because I want there to be an easy answer. And obviously, like, I do have extreme body dysphoria. You know, I know that like it's really hard for some people to understand, because a lot of people will say that I'm very passing as feminine, and that I'm like very like womanly. Like, people will like not misgender me like in person. The only people who misgender me are people who do it on purpose because they know that I'm trans. Like, they're like going the extra mile to like be offensive or whatever. But in the end of the day, like, I'm gendered correctly, like the vast majority of the time. I'm told I'm very attractive. Like, not even just for a trans person. Like, I'm told I'm attractive for a woman. Like, it's hard for me to accept sometimes, especially since I don't really do some like basic hygiene sometimes. Like, Don't always tweeze my eyebrows. Don't even wear makeup most of the time. Need to take care of my teeth better. Need to go see a dentist. Trying to see a dentist. COVID was putting a bunch of restrictions on that, but now it's like I think now I'm just waiting for them to schedule me. But yeah, I mean, like, even though, like, I'll judge myself really harshly a lot of the time, like, people generally see me as a very, like, some people don't even think I'm trans, like, and I know that, like, that should make me feel better, but it kind of makes me feel like, okay, well, but I still feel dysphoria. You know, so, like, where is the dysphoria? It's internal. Okay, because no matter what other people externally treat me, and this might not be the case for everyone, maybe some people have less internal dysphoria and they have more social dysphoria, but I have very, very, very bad internal dysphoria. And so, like, when I look at my face, or if I look at my shoulders or my chest, even with my breasts getting better and better every day, but, you know, even, you know, because it's a different, I went through male puberty, so it's changed my body, and that frustrates me more than, like, it makes me feel hopeless. And I feel like if anything, like, that's where the suicidality comes from with trans people. Because even getting all the treatment that I'm getting and getting the surgeries that I'm going to be getting, and the surgery that I got, like the orchiectomy, like, even moving forward with everything and being accepted by everyone else, there's still this, like, giant spike going through me that just causes pain. And that's all it does. I don't know. I would never wish it on my worst enemy to have the gender dysphoria that I have. There's nothing you can really do about it. Because there's certain things you just, like, at least modern medicine can't do anything about. And if it could, that'd be great. Like, if I could just go into, like, a freaking like, machine, and, like, it just, like, surrounds me with smoke, like in Spider-Man, like Willem Dafoe in the Green Goblin or whatever. Like, if I just went into, like, a chamber and, like, a whole bunch of gas, like, surrounded me, and then I came out of it as if I never went through male puberty, like I went through female puberty only. Like, if I could do that, it'd be fan-fucking-tastic. I wish everybody could do that. Like, I think everybody would be trans if it was easy. Like, honestly, like, tell me, like, look at me in the eye and tell me that if it were super, super, super duper easy and safe and reversible, that you had the option to change your body as if you were born and assigned the other gender, tell me that you wouldn't do it if you're not trans. Like, if you're cisgender, I feel like there's no such thing as cisgender. I think there's just trans people who don't need to transition. like it's like a spectrum. There's some people who are just cisgender category, but, like, I feel like it's a huge spectrum of, like, well, if these people, like, maybe some people might be trans, but they're willing to accept that they can't, that, like, they're not willing to do anything about it. Because, like, there's maybe multiple reasons. And I don't want to, like, assume about people, but I really do think that this is the case. That cisgender people, if they had more acceptance, if there was easier access to that kind of treatment, if it was reversible, I feel like way more people would transition. Like, because it's like, I mean, I don't know, like, wouldn't you, like, be curious, like, if you could just magically change your gender, like, I mean, not your gender, but if you magically change your body to like match, like, either male or female, like it's or you could even change everything, like your facial structure, like you could make yourself into a giant, like, warlock troll or whatever, like from like World of Warcraft or something. Like, imagine if you could actually create your own avatar. I mean, everybody would. Like, obviously, most people would probably just make more realistic versions of themselves, I think, in the end. Like, as much as you'd like to customize your own avatar, I feel in the end of the day, you're gonna find what matches you. And that may or may not match what you already have. So it's like, I don't know. I just think a lot more people should just be a little bit more understanding, because I think people do already understand gender identity. Like like a lot of cisgender people. Mark Zuckerberg wants to hire me. Sorry, I'm like autistic and probably can't do anything. You know, if you're gonna hire me, I mean, what do I got to lose? You know. But you know, if more cisgender people truly understood, like, that they already understand trans people, because every time, like, if you're a male and every time you wake up you're kind of pissed off that you have to shave, or like if you're a woman and your breasts are painful because they're too big or whatever. Like, I feel like way more people understand what it's like to be trans than they realize. The difference is how much it affects their daily life and how much they're willing to go through to make those changes. Because if you don't care about, like, if you're like, okay, like, you know, this is not even about transgender specific. If you're a guy and you have facial hair and you don't want that facial hair, are you willing to get, like, laser hair removal or electrolysis? If you aren't, then, like, well, you're just gonna have to put up with it or shave, you know, like. Yeah, metaverse, self-identity, how you look. So, yeah, I mean, that's the future. I mean, it's already here. In fact, I don't think it's ever been different. I feel like who we are, like, if we want to get, like, super metaphysical here, I feel like who we are has always been self-creation. Like, we create our own identities. And when we have the technology to do it, we'll be able to create more and more diverse versions of ourselves. I mean, it has some kind of ethical implications, like, what if you could make yourself black? Like, I think at that point, though, I don't think, you know, the thing is, if everyone is every race, would racism exist? Like, if we realize, like, hey, like, you could live, but I mean, that's, I don't know, like, the implications are, like, because of the way society is, if you had the option to be white, if you're a black, the sad part is that the way the world is set up, if you're black, you're gonna have a harder time. You know, which is, I don't know, that's kind of like the thing about my gender dysphoria. Like, if I could just, you know, magically make myself to have a body of a cisgender woman, then I wouldn't have to, like, nobody would know. Like, it wouldn't be an issue. Like, I wouldn't have to deal with being trans. You know, because I love being trans, but I don't like being trans. You know, like, yeah, it is risky. Yeah, you get into the realm of, like, altering your body. There's some ethics involved. I don't know, like, that might be something for the future to discuss. Like, if you have the ability to change every single aspect of your physical appearance, where are the limits? Like, what should the limits be? Like, should you be able to change your skin color? Because that would be, like, extreme version of blackface. Like, yeah, I don't really know. I think that's, like, something for, like, the distant future. Yeah, I mean, that's gonna be like college philosophy of the kids nowadays, and then, like, a couple generations from now, there's actually gonna be the actual medical options. Eventually, I mean, if you think of, like, with enough time and effort, you know, there might be a lot of things that we can do that we don't think we can do. Like, there's things we can do now that we didn't think were ever possible. And so, like, What if you literally could just completely change your entire appearance down to the molecular level and still maintain your identity? Like, what if we found that out about humans? That this body is not who we are. That we're actually something else, and that we can attach anything to this. Like, what if we discovered that? Like, what if that actually becomes science and not like fantasy or anything? Like, when things become science, it's when you can, like, make a hypothesis, test the hypothesis, and use that data to, you know, draw a conclusion. A present and future. Yeah, I mean, the present's already pretty insane. We're all cyborgs. I mean, if you have a phone or a computer, you're already a cyborg. You can do things that people like even like 20 years ago couldn't do. Like, you can talk to someone from a completely different country right now. All you have to do is jump into a random chat room. Like, you can communicate with somebody from a different country. Like instantly. Like, that's a superpower. I think Elon Musk talked about it. Like, we're all cyborgs already. It's not a part of our body. It's like an external thing. Like, we have like equipment. We have tools. Like, we create phones and computers. But I mean, yeah, that is kind of an interesting ethical dilemma, though. Like, if theoretically, if we had the capability with science to completely modify our entire appearance down to the molecular level, like, we could become like a gaseous entity, or we could become a giant dragon, or whatever. Like, if we had the ability to do that, where should we draw the line? Like, where, like, can you change your skin color? Like what? Can you become a giant monster that can kill everyone? Like, like, what if you want to become Godzilla? Okay, like, I don't know. There might be lines that need to be drawn. You shouldn't just be allowed to create like a giant like weapon. like you're just like this freaking giant scorpion creature that runs around and like you shoot rockets from your tail and like it's as soon as it lands on people it explodes and infects them with COVID. Yeah, I think a lot of the things, a lot of the stuff like yeah. Oh, hey, Purple. Yeah. I think I unbanned you, by the way. Yeah, I mean, imagine if you literally could identify as an attack helicopter. I'm all for that. Like, I'm all for that. Imagine if that was possible. Like obviously, when people say that, they're trying to like poke fun at, they're trying to poke holes or whatever, quote unquote, into the trans ideology or whatever they call it. It's not an ideology, okay? It's just a fact of life. Some people are transgender. It exists. It's a thing that exists. Okay, but when people try to like poke holes in it, they're like, well, what if I identify as an attack helicopter? Man, are you gonna deny me my identity? It's like, okay, well, first of all, no, I'm not gonna deny you. You can be an attack helicopter. What the fuck? Nobody's gonna stop you. But am I gonna allow you to like go to attack helicopter only bathrooms? Probably. Yeah, I mean, like, why not? What are you hurting? You know, you're an attack helicopter. I mean, you're attacking somebody, but as long as you're not attacking me. Like, what if, like, no shot, we could literally change our body into an attack helicopter? Think about how many people would have their lives completely, like living their dream of being an attack helicopter for like, finally. All these years, everyone thought they were just transphobic. They were really just attack helicopters screaming for help. I mean, if being an attack helicopter and not being able to be an attack helicopter, like physically, caused you suicidality, oh yeah, attack that bag of Doritos. Like if identifying as an attack helicopter but being unable to be accepted as an attack helicopter, being unable to change your body into an attack helicopter, if that caused you like extreme distress and suicidality, then maybe I would say it's a good comparison to trans people. And the same with like transracialism, because people will talk about like that one dude who like freaking took some crazy tanning medicine and like probably gave himself like 20 different versions of cancer so he can make his skin black. And he's like, and it's like, yeah, okay, well, there's one transracial person, and doesn't really seem like the most stable person in the world, but you know, it might be a real thing. But I to compare it to transgender people is absolutely ridiculous, because we have like 1 or 2 cases of people who are transracial. And in those cases too, it's like there's a whole bunch of stuff, it's different, okay? Like there's a whole bunch of stuff going on there, and I don't know. It's kind of like you want to compare it, but you can't compare it. Because it's like a lot of the things people say about transracialism is the same things that some people will say about transgender people. So it's like people will say like, oh, well, you know, like you will say like, oh, well, if they're transracial, they should probably have a mental health evaluation. Well, first of all, being trans, if you want to get any treatment, you have to have a mental health evaluation anyway. But you know, like honestly, like I think there's something very different about these things. And the fact of the matter is, even if it wasn't different, the numbers alone make it different. So like if you have like 2 or 3 people who are transracial and you have like millions of people who are transgender, like I think there's one that's like a little bit more important to deal with, you know? Like, you know, if people ended up being like suicidal and, you know, hating every single moment of their life because they're not black, then maybe that's something to look into. But I think with this guy, I think he's just crazy. Okay. I mean, if you're taking like extremely dangerous tanning medication and then using a tanning bed, like, which is like something that's like explicitly stated on the medicine not to do, like completely damaging your body and completely like offending an entire like culture of people, because race isn't just skin color, like it's not even just bone structure, it's also culture. And like, you know, if you're like, I'm not black, I can't claim that history. I can't say like, oh, I'm a part of black history. I can partake in black history and culture. Like I can listen to jazz music. And you know, most modern music is because of black people, which sadly is because of slavery. But you know, what are you gonna do? I think it's like what was it? Wynton Marsalis, the trumpeter, in the jazz documentary with Ken Burns. He says like being a black man, like especially like in like the earlier days, like the 60s and stuff, like the whole world around you wants to hurt you and do all that. And you know, this is kind of what I feel. I feel like trans people are kind of just getting up to the party, I guess. Like yeah, like this has been going on with women in general forever, and with black people for a very, 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 very long time. I think out of everyone, women have been discriminated against the most out of everyone for all of history. Like, but then again, there's like different levels, because like obviously this country was founded on slavery and a bunch of violence against black people. including slavery, well, including stealing people from their own land and taking them here to do service against their will. And not only that, but in piss poor conditions and with abuse, like physical abuse and rape, which is physical abuse. Like, there's more to being black than just the skin color. like that's what I'm trying to say. Like, just like there's more to being a woman than having breasts, okay? But like, you have to understand, I'm not trying to walk around like pretending to be a cisgender woman. Like, I know my biology. Like, I'm a trans woman. But that fundamentally, like, if you really look at it, like, it doesn't really matter. It only matters like maybe in like a medical context. Or if someone says, hey, everybody who was assigned female at birth, raise their hand, they get a free iPhone. You know, I'm not going to raise my hand because I would be cheating. You know, like, you know, like, there's just certain things, like, you know, those things don't matter, okay? Like, oh, you know, like, oh, you're going in for a medical visit. Oh, it looks like here you've had surgery on your on your vagina. Like, what was that about? And they're like, if you lie to them and tell them, oh, that I had some kind of surgery, I'm actually assigned female at birth, and then they do some treatment that like kills you because you're not assigned female at birth. Like that's where it matters, okay? Like, I don't think it'd be that extreme. It really is like not very relevant at all. Like your chromosomes, they decide what your body produces. You know, once you're like out of the womb, or like you're in the womb, and then like your chromosomes develop like the secondary, like, I mean, the sexual characteristics. You know, whether or not you have a vagina or a penis, and testes or ovaries. And all in between, because there's so much intersex going on. But also, doesn't really determine much after that. In fact, the only reason we have a lot of the things that we consider male or female is because when we go through our puberty, that's when things happen. And so, like, a lot of people nowadays are starting to get a lot more acceptance and access to hormone blockers, which are safe and reversible and are not given willy-nilly. I like that word, willy-nilly. Well, you know, yeah, there's a joke somewhere, but about willies. I'm just danking around. Yeah, like, in the end of the day, like, thankfully a lot of these kids have access to this, and it's safe and reversible and not given away willy-nilly, and they're able to wait until the time is right where they can say, okay, well, which puberty do I need to go through? And it's a huge decision, okay? Because once you pick it, it's going to be really hard to undo it, okay? Like, that goes with your natal puberty too. So I had to go through male puberty, which was my natal puberty because I was assigned male at birth. Because of that, there's lifelong consequences. Like, you know, I have bigger, wider hands. I have like broader shoulders, broader, like, chest cavity. I have a facial structure that like formed a certain way. Like, my skeleton is completely different because of male puberty. And a lot of it is irreversible. And that's really fucked up because that means I have to learn how to accept certain parts of my body that if I had been able to undergo, if I had been able to postpone my male puberty when I was younger, which wouldn't have happened anyway because at the time I didn't even know I was trans. So, I mean, if I was born today, born like into this world, I would have had access to this, and I would have like had more vocabulary. I would have been able to find out I was trans much younger. I would have been able to stop all the permanent changes. And I wish I had that access, but I can never have that access. And I wish people would understand that if I could go back and change it, I would. No matter which puberty you go through first, it's pretty permanent. So it's like, it's a big deal, like whether you're gonna go through estrogen or testosterone puberty. Okay, so like, care is already being taken by doctors and all that. So it's like, it's so frustrating when people just assume things. They assume that like, oh, any kid could just go to the principal's office or doctor's office at their school and just get prescribed, you know, like, just get a vaginoplasty. Like, sorry, like, that's not real. Like, you're making arguments based on things that aren't real, that you're imagining. Like, obviously it's fucked up if that were the case. If you could just go get a freaking gender-changing surgery, a gender-confirming surgery, just by asking for it, without any process whatsoever, it'd be extremely unethical. Because, like, especially if it's a younger person, because, like, that's why there's so much care involved with trans youth. Like, because it's like, well, how much, because you have to determine, just like I was talking about dysphoria, how much of it is internal, and actually based on like real things, and how much of it is based on stuff that I just like, I grasp onto that because it makes me think it's easier to deal with that. There's things that like, maybe if I deal with it, maybe like there's things that like, you know, I can't change, and that sucks. There's things that I can change. Yo, you love this podcast? Yeah, I do want to actually make like a formal podcast one day, and actually have like topics. Oh, God, it's so much work. Oh God. I don't know. Most of my streams end up becoming like kind of like a podcast. Like, I really do not do much gaming. Like, yeah. I mean, it's like there's like very, very, very specific protocol to make sure that kids are safe and they get the best outcome. Because like I was saying, like sometimes dysphoria, like there's dysphoria that actually is dysphoria, and then there's things that like we try to grasp for straws, saying like, oh, I have dysphoria because of this, I have dysphoria because of this, and like, so it's like trying to differentiate between those two is a difficult battle, and I don't think anybody can make that decision for you. Like, that's deeply personal self-discovery. Like that's not something somebody else can decide. Only you can know that. Only you can prevent forest fires. Okay. Jace T. It's like a magic card. Magic of the Gathering. There's like a Jace. Anyway, I'm getting a little bit kind of worn out. We made it to 3.5 hours. Okay, it's not. Obviously, my goal is to be able to run a stream for like 4 hours or more, like I used to be able to. Not so much for like, obviously not for discoverability, obviously not for like, I don't know, maybe there's more content there, maybe there's less content, I don't know. It's not really much about that. It's not about the content, it's about like my ability to follow through with a difficult activity, even if it's, clicking on starting stream and just sitting here and like standing here talking, like, not super difficult, but it does drain me. It's like it's draining, especially if we talk about some serious topics. And there's a lot of serious topics going on nowadays. Especially like with reproductive rights under attack. They always are, it seems. Yeah, I have to prove to myself that I can actually show up and do the work, because the reason I have SSI is because I can't do that reliably. And so I want to overcome it, and at least with my own environment, in my house, in my stream, I have the luxury to practice for life in a way that isn't really, if I miss a Twitch stream, there's like no repercussions really. But like if I miss a job, I can lose that job. And then I have to get another job. And then if I lose that job, I lose that job. And I have to get another job. Like there's all this extra steps that like make it more risky to practice. And you know, maybe eventually, like as time goes on, I might want to start volunteering to try to get into a normal work balance. It's not so much about money, because like I started getting income, and my income, I could slowly build up like, you know, a career somehow, like whether it's, you know, YouTube or Twitch or OnlyFans. Like that's all just money, okay? Like however I get the money doesn't really matter. What I do after I don't have to worry about the money is what is really important to me. Because what am I gonna do with myself if I don't have to worry about money? Because a lot of people, obviously, trying to focus on the money part is makes things a little bit easier to deal with mentally, because then it's like, oh, I just need to make money. I just need to make money. But eventually, the money's not gonna be a problem anymore. And what will be a problem are the limitations that I have. Like, even if they gave me like $10,000 a month for being autistic, that'd be ridiculous. Oh wait, no, just become a famous Twitch streamer. Oh, well then you get paid $10,000 a month to be autistic. Even if I was paid $10,000 a month, never had to work a day in my life ever again, guaranteed, I'd still want to improve myself. I'd still want to challenge myself. Yeah, 100K a year, I mean, that would be pretty badass. I don't know why anyone would need any more than that. Like, honestly, I mean, obviously, any additional is awesome. But, like, why people are so, like, the things that people are willing to put themselves through in order to make more than the minimum of, like, I think like any more than 80,000 a year doesn't really make people happy. But like the amount of torture people put themselves through and the amount of sacrifices people make just to increase their salary is like actually insane. But then there's more to it than money. Like, it's not necessarily, I don't think it's about money at that point. I think it's like people see the money as like a game at that point. I don't know. They're like, hey, I earned 100K a year, but what if I earned 800K a year? Like, in order to get to that level, you're gonna have to sacrifice and change a lot about your life. And honestly, I don't know if I can accomplish even 100K a year. But if I could get like 60 to 80K a year, I would never really feel like I failed, you know? And that's really what I'm trying to avoid. I'm trying to avoid completely failing life. Like, I'm trying to get something working for myself that can sustain my life. Okay, and I don't really need much. I just need a small living space, you know, hopefully with like, you know, like privacy. You know, I need privacy. People to spend my time with, people to work with, things to pursue, you know, like writing my novel. Like, those are the things that are important to me, not money. Money is just an obstacle in the way. Like, money is because, oh, you need to pay rent. Oh, you need to buy food. Oh, you need to get, like, to me, that's money. And obviously, maybe that's just copium because I'm in poverty. And if I wasn't in poverty, maybe I'd feel different about it. It's easy to dismiss something when you don't have it. Like, if you have it, it's like, well, I mean, I do like money. It can be fun, but it's really hard for me to enjoy money when I make so little of it. Make like $500 a month with SSI. But with SSI, I also get some additional options that can improve my life. Because it's like, I'm not just making $500 a month, I'm making $500 a month through SSI. And so it's like, because I'm disabled, it gives me additional resources. But yeah, I think it's time to end. I think it's time to end the show. Just kind of like talking about stuff. I feel better than when I did when I started. Even though I was kind of like, earlier on, somebody really set me off and tilted me, but it's just a fact of life. There's people out there that are gonna have completely opposing moral values. Like, I'm sorry, like, anybody who's like pro-life or anti-trans or denies racism or climate change or or just people who play Dota, like like you're gonna get banned. An ant on my nose. Jeez. I think I'm doing okay. My life's gonna be okay. Every day is a new day. Sometimes you just have to get up and push yourself through, you know? Even if it doesn't really feel like you're accomplishing anything, even if it doesn't really feel like it's useful, like, you know, it's like I have a whole bunch of goals for my life, and I want to achieve these goals, you know? I want to be able to be strong enough to make it through this life, and I can't do that if I just stay in bed all day. Although I do want to go back to bed now because I'm tired. Okay, I'm gonna lie down and, like, I don't know, like, it's like watch YouTube or something. I don't know. Bye bye.
Hi, Grim. Welcome to the stream.
Yeah. No, but like, what I was saying was like,
What? You're saying, favorite streamer on. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, kiss off. Oh god, this shirt smells so weird. It's got like this, like, it's been in the closet for like months and years or whatever. Okay, wait, how did we win? Well, come over to Rebecca's chat and hang out. Just remember to follow the rules, or else you'll get banned.